Hello and welcome to your second episode of the Sassy Summer Sessions. And this is going to be the last episode. Today is my last day of work before I go away for my summer holidays. 3 weeks fully offline and 1 full week just gradually coming back. So a 4-week holiday. And whilst I'm away, my incredible operations manager, Fela, is going to be dropping the podlets into our Telegram space on the Mondays. So I'm going to be recording those for you today in advance, and we'll be sending that magic your way whilst I'm on holiday. So today's subject is the number one voted for in our WhatsApp poll, the most popular option on our WhatsApp poll. So for those of you who you wanting to have a say in the things that we do, and you also want to be in a space where you hear about everything we're doing and you're the first ones to know, that's the WhatsApp group. And the number one voted for subject was wealth identity. So I asked, do you want me to share the biggest things that helped me shift from poverty identity to wealth identity? And the answer was a big yes. So we're going to be delving into that today. And it doesn't matter if where you're at with your money identity and money frequency right now. Maybe you're finding that you're already in a really good place and you're ready for the next level. You're going to find this audio really useful. Maybe you feel you can acknowledge that even though you have, because poverty identity doesn't mean that you're living in poverty. There can be people with a lot of not just financial wealth, a lot of love in their lives, a lot of opportunities in their lives, and they're still in the identity of poverty, in the identity of lack, in the identity of not having enough. So I'd like to start with a question. Where in your life do you actually have a lot, and yet you're telling yourself it's not enough? Because this is one of the things that happens so much. Maybe you have money coming in, and every time money comes in for you, you're still saying that it's not enough. You're still in the frequency of poverty. So today's audio, there's so much I can share with you. And I was preparing it earlier, and then I've been having conversations with multiple of you in my DMs because yesterday was the day that the prices to the school went up. And so much came through for me to share with you because of those conversations. So thank you, ladies. And so you may feel that with what I'm sharing today, that I'm calling you out. And I am. And I'm doing this to help, like holding up a mirror for you to see where you are staying in lack and where you are creating more of the same. So whether you are one of those people in my DMs or you weren't, you're going to find that this audio really serves you. Because this audio is about how do you create something that is not in your current reality? How do you move towards something that you've not yet experienced? Or that you haven't experienced in a long time and you have this perception you won't be able to experience again, and it's hard to get to it. And we're going to be talking about it through money. So there have been several of you who have known that joining the school is for you. You've known in your heart and in your gut that this is something that you want. You've like hungered to say yes. And your mind and your fear has said no. You've looked at your current circumstance and what you see in your financial reality based on the present moment, and you've made your decision from there. And this is the thing when it comes to wealth identity. And what I mean by wealth identity is I currently see what I'm making now, which is way more than I've ever made in my life. And I know it's just the beginning, that it is a drop in the ocean of what I'm creating. And the reason for this is the following, is that the decisions that I make, whether it's to do with investments, whether it's to do with what I'm creating in my business, the conversations that I'm having, the rooms I'm getting into, the ways that I'm stretching myself, everything that I'm doing, all of the decisions that I'm making is under the assumption that where I'm at right now is just the beginning. And here is the thing, when it comes to wealth identity and increasing incremental wealth creation from a balanced place, those of us who are in that frequency, we are empowered decision makers, especially when it comes to money. I understand, because in the past, especially when it came to that first time of making a big decision around investing in myself, I know what it is to go between a yes and a no, and do I do it, do I not, going between what I want and what I'm afraid of. So what I want is the yes, what I'm afraid of is the no, and leading myself through that decision. I know what that feels like, and I fully understand it. And if what you are desiring for yourself is to shift into wealth identity, that is something you want to clean up. Wealth identity is convicted when it comes to money. Wealth identity is in full trust and assumption that making money is easy. So even if an investment isn't the right thing, I'm actually going to share a story about an investment I made recently that wasn't the right thing. Because I assumed that I'm really good at making more money, I don't focus on the investment not being the right thing. I focus on what I'm moving towards. And so each time money is going out, each time I'm making a decision to invest in something, I'm continually looking forwards to what I'm creating. What is it I'm choosing to create more of? Where is it I'm choosing to place my focus? And so every single time I invest in something that feels stretchy, because maybe it's taking me to a new level, I make that empowered decision from, does this make logical sense based on where I'm going? What's the exponential value? Rather than focusing on the money going out, because I assume and know that more money is coming in. I know that. Makes logical sense to me. If I'm focusing on making the investment, it's what is the value that I'm gaining from investing in this thing, from putting that money there. And this is something one of my coaches spoke about the other day, and it really resonated because this is something I've noticed has been a huge shift within me. I'm no longer focusing on the money going out. I'm focusing on what value I'm getting. I'm focusing on how is this helping me move forwards towards more of that money coming back in again. And see what happens when I'm not focusing on the money coming out. I'm actually focusing on who do I need to be and become for more of that to come in. What's actually happening is that rather than that cup getting emptier and emptier of the bank account, it keeps filling up more and more and more. And where is all this money coming from? How is it that my savings are going up so quickly? How is it that more money keeps coming in every single month? It makes logical sense because I'm focusing on the forwards motion rather than getting stuck in what I'm creating in the present moment. So the question here is, when it comes to money, where are you making choices from fear? And what does it look like for you to be when you know something is for you? And this is something I invite, if it's not normal for you, that it's going to make such a profound difference in your life. When it comes to anything, let's talk about money. When it comes to money and feeling at ease with money and therefore being able to make a lot more of it, choose to be an empowered decision maker. When you know something is for you, go for it and then make it work. Because this is a second piece that has massively shifted in me when it comes to money, because I used to do this in other areas of my life. When I decided I wanted something, I would find a way to make it happen. No matter how far in the, how crazy it seemed, how it didn't make logical sense based on my current circumstance, I would decide I want that thing, and so I'm going to find a way to make it work. And so I did. Even if the first thing didn't work or the second thing didn't work, or I failed at a couple of things, trying them out, I would still keep going because I decided, well, I want the thing, so I'm gonna make it happen. And then I translated that into finances. If there's an investment and I know that it's for me and it makes logical sense, and I decide, well, I want that thing, I find a way to make it happen. If the finances are there, I stretch myself, even if it can feel uncomfortable because savings are going down or there's the monthly payment coming out and it requires me to make more money. I find a way. And then, and this is another piece that several of my coaches have really helped guide me with, and I now choose to do this for my students and my clients, is it's then up to you to acknowledge every single time if you make an investment and you go into lack, and you're like, well, it's not immediately getting me the result I wanted, or that thing that my coach said, I didn't resonate with it, or why is it not working straight away? Every single time you find yourself going into that frequency is you call yourself out and then you choose to look for the gold. So let me tell you about this investment. This is several months ago now, I can't remember the exact date, where I decided to make an investment. And as soon as I'd made it and everything was set up in place, I'm not going to give too many details because there is a person involved. And this person was in full integrity. It was actually my decision to enter something, assuming it was going to bring me X, Y, and Z, and it didn't. And so as soon as I made the investment and I walked into that, I realized that it wasn't what I had been assuming it would be. And I got locked into a contract of 20,000 euros. And so once I was in that contract, so I'm aware that a vehicle's just gone past, so hopefully the audio won't catch on that. Once I got into that investment and realized that it wasn't the thing that I thought it was going to be, and I still required the thing that I thought it was going to be, I then realized I was going to have to pay out to get out of that contract and then look and then pay again for the thing I was actually looking for. And see, as an empowered decision maker, rather than spiraling into the lack of, oh, all of this money is going out, now what am I going to do? Getting angry at the other person, making it their fault rather than taking full responsibility. My full focus was, what's the part I had to play? What are the lessons here? What's the gold in this experience? Why does this make me an even better investor? Why does this make me even better at holding space for other people investing? Why does this make me an even better coach? What are all of the numerous benefits I can get from this experience? What are the unexpected things of value I can get from this investment? Okay, it wasn't the first thing I thought it was going to be. It's going to be something else instead. And I'm going to make this really valuable for me. And in fact, because of this, I'm going to make so much more money in the future because I'm having this experience right now. And so what I did, we created a deal. Rather than paying off the full 20 grand, it ended up being maybe 6,000. I paid in full and I paid straight away. The deal actually worked out really well for both parties. We had a grounded conversation back and forth of finding out what would work for both. And then I went off and then I invested in somebody else who did give me the thing I was looking for. And rather than going into a spiral of stories and stories, and yes, this required that I take money out of savings that I hadn't planned on taking out. And yes, it felt uncomfortable. And yes, it required me to see my savings going down. But rather than focusing on that, I focused on the value. I then moved to work with somebody else and getting so much value from that. And guess what has happened? My savings is now higher within a couple of months than it was prior to making all of those investments. And this is the thing with abundance, because what is wealth frequency? What is wealth identity? It's abundance. And abundance is not about life external to you, giving you the abundance. and therefore you believing in abundance. It's you choosing to show up with the filters on of an empowered decision maker who always looks for the value, that no matter what is happening, you will always be okay, that you're so strong and so capable, and you're going to get so much from this experience. And if it's not the first assumed value, it's something else you're going to get from it, because it's making you grow, it's making you learn, it's helping you connect with yourself and know thyself. And so let's come back to the oblique path, the diagonal path to your goal of extra wealth, rather than focusing on, I'm at X amount of money coming in and I want to be at Y amount of money coming in, and I'm going to find the direct path to that. Who do you need to become so that making more money makes logical sense? Because you're not going to make more money and hold more money on a regular basis if you're always in lack and fear, if you're always looking for the bad, if you're always looking for things going wrong, if you're always holding money as though it's really hard to keep and you don't trust it, and making more of it so tough, and so you've just got to keep holding on to that small amount that you think that you've got. That is not how wealth frequency works. I'm going to come to my notes and see if there's anything else potent to share with you from today's. So let me finish with this. Wealth frequency is certain. Wealth frequency and wealth identity does not doubt when it comes to investments. Wealth frequency and wealth identity assumes that making more money is easy and trusts. So the person with wealth identity trusts themselves to make more and makes decisions based on where they are going, not focusing on where they are. Because when you focus on where you are and you make your decisions from that place, all you will ever do is create more of the same. I'm going to sign off for today. For those of you who you were on, you knew that saying yes was your move, and you allowed fear to pull you back, I invite you to acknowledge that and take full responsibility. Rather than, because we can get into victim, whenever you allow fear to pull you back into the place that feels safe, because you're playing small and you're not taking the risks that you know will move you forwards, the work here is to take full responsibility and say, I did that. That was me. And then ask yourself, do you wish to continue to do the same? I'm going to sign off for today with the following message. If you've listened all the way up to this point, today is Friday, the 11th of July. If you reach out to me before 5 p.m. today and say I'm in, I'm going to respect the deal that was on the table up until, it actually ended up being 11 p.m. yesterday, up until 11 p.m. yesterday. You have until 5 Spanish time today, Friday the 11th of July. Loves, have a beautiful summer. Enjoy the podlets. And you've got lots of magic coming your way when I'm back in August. I love you all.